Good morning, everybody, and welcome again. This is the sixth session of the Illustrator Survival Corner online edition 2021. The Illustrator Survival Corner is a project by Bologna Children's Book Fair, curated by Mi Master Illustrazione. Again, as in the last sessions, this is an Ask Me Anything session. That means that we ask our nice audience to feel free to submit all questions you have about the topic through the Q&A tool here down on the right on Zoom. We really would like this event to provide you useful contents. My name is Giacomo, and I'm from the Illustrator Survival Corner team. And I'm very, very glad to introduce our guest this morning, Andrea Alemanno. Good morning, Andrea.
Good morning too, and good morning, everybody.
Andrea is an Italian illustrator, and sometimes he also he likes to have this kind of session to help other illustrators to improve their skills, and especially, but not only, about the portfolio. So portfolio today is the main topic. Alemanno will provide a short introduction and about the average guidelines about portfolio, but since it's a very big and interesting topic, again, feel free to submit all your questions to us. We'll try to provide you the best contents we can and to help you. And before we start, I would like to say thank you to all the nice audience connected here today with us from all over the world. You are a very, very warm and nice community. So, Andrea, you have the floor. Start with your slides and let's give some good advice to illustrators.
Okay, so did you see?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. First of all, thank you to Mi Master team for inviting me to be here today. I am Andrea Alemanno. I am an illustrator for picture book, board games, role-play games, young adult books, and I am a cartographer too. My work has been selected in this year at Bologna Children's Book Fair Illustrators exhibition, and in the past year, some of my illustrations are selected at Infect by Art. Today, the topic is how to develop a portfolio, a good portfolio, a catchy one. So I just prepared some tips for all of you. The first one is to have a PDF with a screen landscape resolution, because most probably we send our portfolio by email. So the client, the publisher, or the art director check our portfolio on a device, an electronic device, like a tablet, computer, smartphone. So to have a better resolution for our portfolio, try to use this kind of resolution. That one is the screen resolution, the common resolution, and a landscape is better. Also, the second tips is to have the right number of the image inside a portfolio. Usually 10 or 15 images are enough to explain what you do, but sometimes it's very difficult to have a selection of all your all our jobs. So a little advice is this: try to have a very huge portfolio with all your illustrations, and when you start to think to do a portfolio for a publisher, try to start to delete all the illustration that doesn't match with that publisher. For example, sometimes I work for fantasy illustration market. So when I send a portfolio, delete all my illustration for educational book, picture book, or other. Also, for the tips is to need to be just a little bit stalker, because when we write a cover letter to an editor, to a publisher, it's better find the specific name or inside the house publishing. So try to use all the social media, Facebook or LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, when these people talks. Also, another list of tips. You can think about your portfolio like a shop window. What does it mean? It means that our customer are the clients. And the clients are the publisher, the art director, the agency, anyone decided to ask you something to illustrate. So you are a seller. You sell your arts, but you sell yourself too. That means your personality is a tool. If you are an elegant person or eccentric or maybe a weird one, the portfolio should be the same personality, okay? Also, your shop window, your portfolio have your rules. So if you want to change, you can do it. And like as a shop window, you can change every time you want. But remember, any new moves may attract new customer, new publisher, new agency, but maybe you can lose the old ones. So be careful. Also, when you start to do your shop window, remember that the portfolios speak for you. And if you are not sure with some of your illustration, you can erase it from your portfolio, because the portfolio needs to have the same quality from the first to the last illustration. But sometimes we have a chance to meet in person a publisher. Example, it like happens at Bologna Children's Book Fair. So I just prepare a short list of things that you need to have. Remember, you have when you meet in person a publisher, you have few minutes to explain. So just you need to be very prepared. A portfolio, of course, is we just talked about, is the most important, but a business card is important too, because it's a remember who you are and what you do. Because in this fair, a publisher meet a lot of illustrators, colleagues, other publishers, friends. So a way to leave the mark should be prepare a small gadget. For example, I do for the past Bologna Children's Book Fair coasters to give to the publisher that I met. Also, a meeting is the best moment to show your proposal, okay? But the project needs to be almost finished, not completed at 100%, but for example, the proposal needs to have a cover, the storyboard with some inner finished illustration. And most important, you need to prepare a speech. You may talk about your favorite subject, what is your technique, the past clients that you work, but please don't remain silent during a meeting, and most of all, smile. Smile, because a sad face is never helpful in a meet, okay? So now go and get them. Thank you. This is a very short speech.
Thank you, Andrea. These are the main general points, and now we really would like to start our conversation with the audience. And as you can see, there are already some questions in the Q&A panel.
Okay.
I do apologize in advance how I pronounce your names, guys. You are from all over the world, and I know I'm wrong. I'm sorry, okay? But you can also mispronounce my name, it's fine. So Shahrzad, she's asking if we have multiple styles in illustration, how can we make a professional and neat-looking portfolios? So the point is, I have different styles. How do they can coexist in the same folder, in the same portfolio? What you think?
Tricky questions, because the question maybe it is start with a wrong point of view. I must explain this, because you need to ask if all your styles match with the publisher or the art director. Sometimes an art director decides to have a specific style, art style. For example, some publishers prefer to work with artists that work in traditional, not in digital. So, for example, if you have a portfolio that doesn't match with this require, it's not important to send them the portfolio, but otherwise some happens have a very huge house publishing. For example, Penguin Random House, Mondadori, and others have a lot of different styles. So you can try to split your portfolio in targets. For board book, picture book, cover book, and send separately all this portfolio. Okay? Thank you for your questions.
Thank you, Andrea. We have like 20 something questions, so we try to go straight to the point together. Okay.
Okay.
So, Chandra, she's asking, do you group black and white illustrations and color illustration together, or would you mix them throughout the portfolio?
Okay, in my portfolio, I usually split in two parts. The first one for color illustrations, and the second one for black and white. But if I know that the publisher don't find black and white illustration, I erase that part. Okay.
And Laura, she is asking, maybe I can reply, what do you think that's the most important things to say in the intro to present yourself? Yes, Laura, I think it's like a date. So what you do when you meet for the first time someone, you have to do the same. Shortly, like, hello, my name is Laura, I'm an illustrator, I'm from, couple of lines, 3 lines about your biography or your previous clients and your contacts, okay? Please, I would like really to say this. When you submit a portfolio by email, you have to put your contacts, your email or your social media channels, your website in every single page of your portfolio. You have to be to think about the client. It has to find the shortest way to get in touch with you, not to go browsing and searching or your PDF to find how to get in touch with you. So make a very easy graphic layout in your portfolio that every single page, maybe down on the footer, have your contacts. The client is taking a look, see something he really like, he can, in a blink of the eyes, he can find a way to reach you out. And again, when you submit a PDF portfolio, please don't name the file like portfolio 2021.pdf. You name the file Laura Resio .portfolio21.pdf. You can figure out how many portfolios one publishing house do they get during a year. So you have to find a way to make an easy path for your client to reach you out. Okay. Andrea, next one. Okay. Monique. This is, I mean, this is not properly about portfolio, and okay, we gather with some other questions later. Okay.
Okay.
Eva, she's asking, you talk about 10, 15 image.
Okay.
She's asking, but in our portfolio, I think the question is no more. Can I have more?
10, 15 images usually are enough to explain, but sometimes I did portfolio with 20, not more, no more, but depends from to the publisher. Okay, if you have a publisher that have a specific topic, 10, 15 images are enough.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
And Dina, welcome back, Dina. And the importance to find our individual style. Again, do you think it's okay to include a different style in the same portfolios? And if I can conclude, she's adding, you think it's okay to change our style from time to time? Already, Andrea said something about it. I just want to add a couple of things, if you let me. And yes, you can have multiple styles. Better to say multiple techniques or visual languages, okay? You can include, of course you can include, but I think it's very important for each of them, for each style, you provide enough illustration to testify that you can really manage this style. Again, it's like a first date. You meet someone for the first time and this person say to you, hey, you know, I'm a good guy. Really? Do you trust? No, yeah. You want to see something more to trust he's a good guy. It's the same. I have multiple styles, but not just put one image for each. Testify them that you have different styles and you can manage professionally each of them.
Absolutely. Try to don't speak about style, but like say Giacomo, visual language, okay? And you can handle many visual language, many grammar of the images, but you to be responsabile nel farlo.
Yeah, you really take care. You really rely on the portfolio. Alexandra, this is a big question. Some tips you can share for making a portfolio that is different than any others. Other than your own style, what things should we pay attention to so that our portfolio is the one that remains in the mind of the publisher, apart from the style?
Okay. Hard question. So, to remain in the mind is very difficult because sometimes is the moment. You write a cover letter and the publisher read in the same moment your email, and he find you and say, okay, it's perfect for this project now. Other times you should be the best one, but the publisher is very busy and lose your email in the check mails. So it's very difficult to have a formula.
Yeah.
For
I think that the best way, okay, let's say your portfolio is a good one. You're good in drawing, you're a good illustrator, and that's it. Is the point of view, guys. As when you send your portfolio, you're saying to a publisher, hey, I can solve some problems you have. What does it mean? I can provide you some visual contents that have consistency with your publishing houses, with your style, with the direction of the books you like to publish. I can be helpful for you. I think that's the key point, beyond the quality of your illustration, the key point to remains in the mind of the publisher, as you said, Alexandra, because if you really, from your image, if the publisher really understands that you spend time taking a look at the publishing house catalog, and you really go near to their visual direction, the kind of books they want to publish, even if maybe there is nothing ready for you in the publishing house. I mean, they don't have a project right now to put you on work with. I'm quite sure that time by time, if something come out in the publishing house, the publisher, the editor, they come back to you. So it's the point of view, okay? It's not you asking for something to the publisher, it's you providing something to the publishers. If you start thinking like this, you easily remind how to name the file of the PDF, how to put your contacts in your portfolio. Again, Carolina, how to meet a publisher, and is it useful to have a representative like an
agency?
Yeah.
Yes and no. For example, some kind of market, the UK and USA markets often needs to have an agency that you represent. In others, for example, in Italy, I can work without an agency. So it's to have an agency also is trust relationship. Okay, so when we and also the market is very full. Okay, the agency become a tool to have new clients and new jobs, but it's very competitive. Okay, so first of all, to ask to be represented by an agency, ask you if you are ready to be represented, because it's like the first league. Okay, it's not
the championship. It's the championship.
Okay, it's the championship league. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Andrea.
Okay.
she's asking, or he's asking, I don't know, sorry guys, advice to beginner to building up their first portfolio.
Okay. To build it, you can start with some rule. First of all, you participate some contest, for example, Bologna Children's Book Fair or others. That illustration become the first step of your portfolio. Another rule is to give at your portfolio some categories. For example, black and white, color, board book, picture book, cover, okay? And remember, any month, any year of your career produce new illustrations. So your portfolio change with your any commission that you complete. Okay, so don't worry. The first portfolio should be good. The last one should be better.
And if I can add something about the topics, for instance, okay, you want to make a picture book portfolio, you want to work in the picture book market, okay, so pick up one fairy tales or one folk tales better from your country, something very traditional, something very unique, you know, like a legend of traditional stories from your country that there is no copyrights. You pick up this story and you make a storyboard. You make some final illustration, you draw a cover, and that's your first part of your picture book portfolio. Same, if you want to work in the, sorry guys, in the editorial market, you want to work with the newspapers or magazine. Okay, you would like to work with the New York Times, pick up the New York Times, pick up some articles that other illustrators that have been illustrating, and you redo. You do your option and you submit to the art director. You want to work in book covers? The same. Pick up some titles of the publishing house you would like to work with. You make your own proposal for that cover and you send to the art director. We have 34 questions, you know, Andrea. It's a big job, huh?
Okay, yeah.
It's a big job. Okay, when sending a portfolio to an agency, should you send it one agency at a time and wait for feedback, or send multiple agencies and we'll see?
Multiple agencies.
I do agree. Even if it's not different from sending a portfolio to publishing houses, select the agencies that go the same visual direction you are going, yes, but also that they didn't have already someone drawing, someone represented with your same kind of technique of styles, because sure, they wouldn't need another one. Okay, so you have to be consistent, but also original at the same time. That's always the point, to be consistent with the publishing house, to be consistent with the agency, but original. It's not easy, guy, yeah? It's not easy, you know? Okay. The next one, Diana, is for you, Andrea. It's better to send a PDF or a web page as a portfolio?
Okay, I prefer to send a PDF, but in my cover letter, I put my gallery online, okay? Because sometimes the publisher have a lot of folder of PDF portfolio, but sometimes he doesn't in his office, so needs to check on internet. Okay.
Thank you. Melissa, she's asking about portfolio layout. Let's say it's okay, one page, one picture, or different pictures on the display on the page.
Depends. If you did a lot of spots, okay, for the same project, you can do a page with multiple images. Okay. Sometimes So if I do many cover of the same topic, I put together in the same page. Okay, just it.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you too.
Mariam, she's asking, I always plan on investing in a nicely designed physical copy of my portfolio to hand out to clients. Is it worthy? Are clients like to keep a physical copy of my work, or digital one is fine?
Okay, sometimes is a good choice. I remember a friend, Elisa Paganelli, did a physical copy of her portfolio just to give to some publisher. Okay, just a flyer with some page, nothing special. Okay, nothing to elaborate. Okay, but usually is today is better a digital one. Okay, just to be more comfortably. Okay. But if you have watercolor traditional style or oil painting, okay, on paper, you can keep with you some of your illustration to show, okay, but just like an add to a portfolio in digital.
And let's say, just to put a big frame for the problem, any kind of way you draw, this drawing, it will be digitalized at some point, because publishing process requires digitalization of your illustration. Even if you're best watercolorist in the world, if you want to make a book, you have to think about that it will be digitalized. And of course, you can save your artwork for exhibitions or for to sell or to give to someone. But as an illustrator, I mean, you have always to think about at the end of the process, there is a scanner somewhere waiting for you, okay? And again, about paper or physical or not, so it's again up to the, I think, to the kind of project you're showing. If it's just illustration portfolio, PDF, digital or not, it's the same. If you want to show a book project, that is a book project maybe for kids with a hardcover, with some special paper, I think that situation is better to provide a maquette, a mock-up, a dummy, I want to say, because it's important. It's not just a book cover for a general trade illustration, for general trade novels, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Monique, she was asking, I noticed in the BCBF gallery many illustrations that are for children, but not necessarily childlike.
Okay.
Is there an age appropriateness to illustrating for children? How do we know we are creating art that is appropriate for children, which would be more typical for editorial, or does they entirely depend on the publishing house's style?
Okay, it's
I think
tricky.
Yeah, yesterday we had a conversation about it with Giulia Orecchia, that, you know, she has a long-lasting experience.
Yes. I just can add one thing. You need to look so much, look a lot of books to understand which is the grammar of this kind of market. Okay, the language, the grammar evolve in the years, and sometimes, for example, the old books, the vintage books, are an aesthetic that doesn't match totally with the match of today. The racial themes now is a rule very important to express in the picture book on the children's market. Okay, your technique needs to prove that you can speak this kind of language, okay? And sometimes you need just experience in the field. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you. Thank you, Monique.
Yeah, it is a big question, Monique, you know, and
yeah.
there is not just one answer. There are many answers. There are all the answers that you see in a bookstore. They are all different answers to these questions. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
I think there is a perfect matching between these questions and the quantity of different styles and topics and formats in the picture book market. Carolina, she's asking how to meet a publisher and is it useful to have an agency? We have already replied the second one about to meet a publisher. You can send email, you can go to book fair, you can go to illustration exhibition. Those are the main questions, the main situation where you can find a publisher.
Don't to be much stalker and go to his house. His home is to be too much, but the fair or email are enough.
Sophie, hello. Andrea mentioned a proposal to show.
Okay.
Does it have to be a specific project or just a mock-up? I don't understand.
Okay, try to translate. If you, okay, a proposal is most important to have in a meeting, especially in person during a fair. But if you have an appointment with a publisher doesn't match with your project, it's not important to show it, okay? Use just your portfolio, not your proposal, okay? If your proposal match with that publisher, you can prepare a mock-up, just a print dummy book, okay, just to show that the thing you do in digital should be print, okay.
Clara. There are many questions. We reply to Clara, but also to the other guys who were asking the same, okay? To put the character design also in the portfolio, or just, she said, the double page illustration from the picture book is enough to make some study of the character design or some little details.
I don't like put in a portfolio the different page with character studies, because I think for a publisher is more interesting see the more page from a picture book that I've illustrated, because the publisher would understand the rhythm, the composition, more things that with a character style pages doesn't I can't express. Okay.
And I also think, you know, that there is an order in a portfolio, so you can also put some character designs if you really like it, but at the end, like if the first part of the portfolio, the most important one, get interested to the publisher, maybe he also would like to have a look at your character design, but it's just something more, sometimes conversation, you know, to see, oh, nice, you know. Okay, so we replied to Clara and to Fion, and Alexandra again. Do you think showcasing traditional and digital work in the same portfolio is seen as inconsistent by publishers? Like it means not coherent to have traditional and digital in the same portfolio.
Okay, no, it's not. Come dire, I guess that a portfolio with different technique is not a problem if you can speak the same language, okay? For example, I'd like to paint fantasy illustration, but I can do in traditional with pencil or watercolor, but I can do them in digital technique. Okay, it's not a problem. Maybe the publisher should be interested for just one of this kind of technique. So study the publisher before to send a portfolio and decide what is better to show to him. Okay.
Thank you, Andrea. Monique, that means that we could keep multiple portfolios, and depending on who we contact, pick the best suitable portfolio for this publisher. Monique, yeah. You get totally the point. Yeah. Portfolio is not just one. Every illustrator have many portfolios in the way they reset up and they switch their works according to the publishing house, to the art directors, to the editors they are approaching to. Every time you have to rearrange your portfolio according to the catalog, to the style, to the vision of the publishing house you would like to work with. Emma, are there any key pieces that we should include for children's picture books? Key pieces. Some key pieces like immagini fondamentali.
Okay. Okay. Depends. First of all, which is the publisher and where is live? Because, for example, if you have come dire, se ci sono delle tematiche specifiche in quel mercato, in quel paese.
It could happen that there are some topics that are quite trendy on that country of the publishing house you would like to work with. Maybe you could take a chance to develop something about it. But I think that the point is not key piece. The point is to show, if talking about picture book, to show that you can work on a narrative sequence. So it's just not one illustration. It's a sequence. Yes. You have to show, to prove that you can develop a visual storytelling from a story, again, a folk story, a fairy tales, whatever you like. But we are talking about, if you are talking about picture books, the big point is not just to draw, but to tell visually a story. I'm sorry, guys, we are running, but you are a lot. Yeah. So we.
Okay.
Okay, we ready to reply. Thank you, Shazad. Clara, like a little sequence, correct? Clara, you get the point.
Correct.
If you approach to picture books, especially, it's important to show sequence. Okay, you can also show an entire story, like a Little Red Riding Hoods. Okay, you illustrate the whole story.
Yeah.
What do we should say or aim to get in a portfolio review?
Okay.
You mean Evelyn to have an appointment? I think she's asking like how to get an appointment for portfolio review.
Yeah. Okay. Just I remember in a meeting, prepare a speech. Okay. Try to have some topic to talk about your work, your past career, your technique, anything you can clarify or oddio, descrivere, non mi viene il termine
describe.
Ok, grazie, il vuoto mentale. Describe what you do, ok?
Emma, for a picture book proposal, the storyboard be made up of small thumbnails in one page. Should you include the full text into the storyboard or should be attached on a separate document? Thank you. For a picture book, Andrea, I think it's better to provide the wall storyboards. In the sides, you would like the book to be published. Okay, so the wall storyboard. Some of the illustration of the storyboard finished with colors, a book cover proposal, and if you want, you can put the text on the illustration, or even since you are not a graphic designer, maybe you can just leave in the image design the space where you would like the designer put the text of the story. Along with it, you prepare just one piece of paper with the subject of the story, your name, surname, biography, a couple of illustrations from final illustration from the storyboard, your contacts, okay? And this is the information card of your project. You leave it to the publisher if in a meeting in person, I mean, and you bring back your storyboard or your mock-up. You can send it by email after the meeting. Alexandra, how can we approach big publishers? Do you think we stand no chance if we don't know a certain person in the publishing house? How would approach, for example, a big publishing house like Penguin, Random House, as opposed to a small local one? We're talking about big fish.
Yeah, absolutely. With big fishes, is required to have an agency, but sometimes during a fair like BCBF, the publisher organize some portfolio review. For example, in the past years, Simon and Schuster organize the portfolio review, but it's very difficult to get one of these meeting because we are a lot and sometimes the publishers doesn't explain well how to get this kind of meeting during a fair. Sometimes, okay, it's talk about stalking. We can, you can use LinkedIn, for example, or try to find an interview with some publisher and that explain sometimes if they have a window or open window to send your work. It's a long it's a long work to do. Okay, you need to be come dire,
bold.
Okay, you need to be
bold, not to give up. Okay.
Okay.
There are many questions about the contents of the children's portfolio, and I would like just to say another time, there is no specific contents. You have to draw a story, okay? Landscapes or face expression, everything is within together. You pick up one story, maybe a classic one, again, a fairy tale, folk tale, and you draw. That's what you need. Of course, if you would like to work in a school book market, you bring some school books samples and you redraw. You make your own proposal. You don't have to think about nothing special. You have to tell a story, okay? And Alexandra, do you also add a few words about the illustration concept next to them, or just only size technique like this?
Okay, when I did my first portfolios, I usually do a description. For example, this illustration comes from a fairy tale that I just published. So the name of the publisher and the title of the book. But now I just leave the image alone in the page. It's not important. Okay.
because PDF portfolio, we can't split for the target publisher, but in website, it wouldn't be possible. Thank you again. It's two tools of the same system, Shahzad, okay? Your website is the whole collection. It's arranged by topic, like picture book or school books, or by techniques, or wherever you like, but give some setup for your website. You arrange a portfolio client by client when you want to approach. It's two different tools. A portfolio is just a selection from your website, from your big archive of what you think mostly suits the publishers.
Okay, the portfolio is just the shop window and your website is the store. Okay.
Correct, correct. Carolina, she's asking, any good place to find the portfolio example? And someone else is asking if ArtStation is a valid portfolio platform.
Yes. Also, you can ask some portfolio to your colleagues, okay? In the past, I asked to my colleagues if you have some portfolio, because maybe they are organized better than me, okay? And ask if I can use the same structure of their portfolio. Many times they ask, yes, you can do it, okay?
Do you think I need to put more image from the same book to show how good I'm in telling stories? If you want to be a visual storyteller, you have to show you are good in visual storytelling. So, Lola, yes. It's a good idea to upload the PDF portfolio to our website to be downloaded by some potential client, or you should only send them by email yourself. Why not?
Why not? Yes. I don't do it because I did more time ago, but I don't now because I leave my contact. So if a publisher is very interested about me and what I do, they send me an email and I send to them my PDF. Okay.
Thank you, Andrea. Beatrice. It's better to insert only illustration from projects in the portfolio, or also some artworks not connected to each other?
Depends.
Yeah. Not connected to each other. What does it mean? I mean, if you did, as Andrea said, one illustration who was awarded by an important international illustration contest, of course, you have to show it, okay? Yes. But try to be consistent. I mean, make everything look, the portfolio is a book. When you open a portfolio, you have to find a consistent atmosphere, a consistent mood.
Yes, you can connect the illustration by the theme, the thematic, or the lore, the market, the target age. Okay, the illustrations many times talk each other, and they not specific in the same book. Okay, if you have a lot of cover of fairy tales, should be good. Show them. Okay. Also, if you have a story about the sea, okay, and the publisher publish book about the sea, the navy, or something else, you can show many illustration with different technique, different target, but with the same thematic. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. There are many questions about what's the difference between submitting a portfolio for an agency and submitting for a publisher?
Okay. for an agency, you need to prove that you have a lot of kind of work to okay, start again, because this kind of two markets talk each other. Okay, you can provide a portfolio for a publisher, and the same you can use for an agency, but the agency is a bridge from you to a publisher. Okay, so if the agency occupy the same interesting area of the publisher, most probably your portfolio is matched with the agency request. But sometimes the agency is very huge and cover a lot of different topic. So you can provide in the same portfolio different chapter, okay, but depends about what agency is searching. Okay.
Thank you, Andrea. I was trying to gather in some question.
Okay.
Okay, if you have a book project, you can send as a PDF, you send the whole storyboard, some finished illustration, and the cover and the information card, which size you would like, how many pages, the age is of children you are addressing to, your biography, your contacts, and that's it. There are many questions about to show a work in progress of a book proposal. No, everything is private. If you want to show, if you want to present a project to the publisher, it's a private thing. As long as the book is out, we hope so, and according with the publisher, you start with communication. Sometimes a publisher say, okay, let's make this book together, and you can ask, would you like me to post on my social media channels some work in progress? And the publisher maybe would be happy to say, oh, sure, it's a communication. We rise and hype about the book, but please, it's always a matter of good manners. You ask and you find an agreement with a publisher. My God, how many? If they asking if they are not good in graphic design, how can they set up a portfolio? But I'm sure they have friends that can help. Friends and colleagues are too important in this job, isn't it, Andrea? To exchange experiences, to give advice. And
good manners and good communication is always a good rule to develop ourselves and our portfolio. Okay.
Someone is asking, I said, it's my fault. I talk about the order of the portfolio. Could you please explain this a bit more? Yeah. But I'm talking about the order of illustrations in your portfolio. Okay.
Okay.
Of course, first point is you put the things that you think are more interesting for your publisher. Okay. And at the end, you can put sketches, you can put character design if you like. But as long as publisher, they always have short time to have a look at portfolio or to meet an illustrator, you start with the strongest and newest well-drawn illustration you think could rise some kind of interest in the publisher. You know, it's like in a way, love at first sight. You have just this chance to make a good impression. So
yes.
And please, and if you show a physical portfolio, put all the illustration in the same orientation. Don't push the publisher to make like this or this.
So I suggest a PDF with a screen landscape resolution. Okay.
The very last one.
Okay.
Let me check. There is something we didn't mention. We talk about social media, so keep it private, even if you don't have an agreement with the publisher. And even if it's a personal project you want to show to a publisher, keep it private. Keep it private. Someone is asking, it's important to have an own website as a portfolio. Yeah, you need your own website. You can buy something, or you can just use a free platform like Behance or like this, but it's fundamental. You can't skip to have a website place. As Andrea said, the website is the store and the portfolio is the
shop window. Yeah.
And okay, I think we are running out of time. I'm sorry, because another session is starting. So
okay,
guys, we hope we provide you some good contents.
Thank you so much, really. Thank you so much.
Stay strong and speak soon, and meet you soon on BCBF 2022. Thank you very much, Andrea.
Thank you too, and thank you for inviting me. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye, everybody.